that hot mess that they air in the mornings called The View had to issue not one, not two, not three, but four corrections, legal corrections, four legal notes. We only have three of them on camera. Not to mention what they did at that debate, where once again, they tried to fact check only one side. And then when their fact checks got fact checked, they cowered. They cowered in fear.
You've seen Fierce? Think again. Bill Maher and Megyn Kelly just unleashed a verbal beatdown so brutal, The View hosts might never recover. In a takedown worthy of a championship bout, the two media heavyweights obliterated everything The View pretends to uphold. This wasn't just fiery, it was a total disaster for the hosts. The kind of moment you replay like it's the final round of an epic title fight.
Talk about Whoopi Goldberg because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before.
Sure.
So she was, everybody was like, "Oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma." First of all, I'm going to talk about this at the end of my show next week, teaser. But there is no thing as karma, okay? Get over that.
This was no ordinary debate. Bill Maher and Megyn Kelly, two fearless media titans, marched into hostile territory and dropped a scorcher that's still lighting up the internet. Forget the recycled political jabs, this was an all-out roast. Maher and Kelly brought the heat. Sharp sarcasm, icy precision, and a dose of reality The View clearly wasn't ready for. The hosts tried to duck and weave, but when two seasoned juggernauts come swinging, there's no hiding.
Disgusting. She's Anna Navarro. In your wildest imagination, you could never solo host a show. You will only ever make it as part of an ensemble, and you could never hope to achieve the success that Tucker Carlson has. So you can sit in your little cheap seats all day long and enjoy your little negative henpecking, but your careers are going nowhere, and Tucker is about to dominate in whatever space.
Let's start with Bill Maher. He's not your average late-night host. Maher thrives on discomfort, pushing past the politeness and torching the safe zones even diehard liberals hide behind. When Maher goes after you, he's not lobbing softballs, he's coming full force. Just ask Joy Behar. Maher called her out as the queen of boiled-down half-baked takes. He compared her to a scratched CD stuck on the same tired spin cycle. Loud, smug, and allergic to real pushback, Maher didn't just criticize her. He stripped her stick bare, calling it recycled outrage with the depth of a kiddie pool.
The View.
Well,
that's the problem in America.
But
there is
clearly,
one view,
right, and
one
that's clearly
true opinion, and everybody else can go sit in the corner. Do we just understand that part of our sorry racial history in this country is that the point of view from a black person is often going to be very different and sometimes shocking to a white.
Then came Whoopi Goldberg. Oh, Whoopi walking around like the wise elder in a room full of amateurs. But Maher wasn't buying the act. He dragged her for being that person who starts every sentence with "well actually," only to serve up something outdated or painfully clueless. He exposed her so-called wisdom for what it is, shallow dressed up as deep insight. Maher didn't hold back. If you want to be the voice of reason, he said, maybe say something that actually makes sense. Brutal.
It was an atrocity. It was one of the worst moments in American history. And when you think about the worst moments in American history, like World War II, things that happened, like the Holocaust, chattel slavery.
Yeah, the January 6th is right up there next to the Holocaust and slavery.
And just when you thought it couldn't get worse for The View, Megyn Kelly stepped in like an intellectual wrecking ball. Unlike Maher's sarcasm-laced burns, Kelly doesn't joke, she strikes with cold, calculated precision. No smiles, no soft landings, just straight facts and hard truths. When she stepped into the ring, the game changed completely.
Well, I had a different question, but it struck me that in the first segment you used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected.
Yeah.
So the term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bastardized. And so I was surprised to hear you use the term, because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words
and so
migrate.
why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice, who's not for that? But words do migrate.
Kelly went straight for The View's contradictions, and once she spotlighted them, there was no going back. She wasn't there to toss shade. She came for a demolition. When she turned her sights on Whoopi, it wasn't just a clapback, it was a courtroom-style dismantling. Kelly used her legal background to tear apart Goldberg's takes on cancel culture and free speech, making it clear Whoopi had no real grasp of the First Amendment. Kelly didn't just expose her as out of touch, she showed just how dangerous that—
Let's talk about what the ladies on The View are saying. It's somewhat stomach-turning, but we have a clip. Let's watch.
Word has just come down that Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson have agreed to part ways. Wave.
They're disgusting. She's Anna Navarro. In your wildest imagination, you could never solo host a show. You will only ever make it as part of an ensemble, and you could never hope to achieve the success that Tucker Carlson has. So you can sit in your little cheap seats all day long and enjoy your little negative henpecking, but your careers are going nowhere, and Tucker is about to dominate in whatever space he—
The takedown played out like it was scripted, for maximum humiliation. On one side, a group of hosts pretending to be the enlightened voices of reason. On the other, Maher and Kelly, one armed with brutal sarcasm, the other with unflinching logic. Together, they were unstoppable. And the most telling part, the View crew didn't even realize how badly they were losing. They flailed, they deflected, but Maher and Kelly just kept landing hit after hit.
Melania Trump came out and said she's about as pro-choice as they come. And here was the reaction on The View.
I think she hates him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so we can all
That's a
agree on
given.
that. That's a given. I also think that she wants to take him out. She does not want to be the first lady anymore.
Did you look? This is a network that still runs out fact checks to these women, like it's concerned about them staying factual. She hates Trump. She doesn't want to be near him. She doesn't want to be president again. She destroyed the Rose Garden, and she hates Christmas. That is what passes for news on a network. They did a presidential—
By the end, it wasn't even a contest. The View team looked like they'd just been dragged through a crash course in humility. Maher and Kelly made their point loud and clear. The polished image of mainstream media crumbles fast when exposed to real intellect and unapologetic honesty. They ripped apart the echo chamber, revealed the hollow virtue signaling, and exposed the shallow dialogue for what it really is: empty, recycled, and afraid of reality.
Whoopi Goldberg was angry when Alyssa pointed out that Trump went to the funeral of Officer Diller.
Yes.
On Long Island, and Joe Biden went to a podcast. Look at Whoopi Goldberg's reaction.
Choose what you like there, but for Republicans, it was good imagery.
Really?
One day later, yes.
And I'm asking that because I was so offended, because you know who showed up.
The View loves to posture as an educational platform for the everyday viewer. But let's be real, when Maher and Kelly walk in, they make it obvious the show couldn't teach a goldfish to swim. Maher delivers sharp, layered insights built on decades of grappling with real-world issues. Meanwhile, Goldberg struts around parroting trending cable news headlines like they're gospel. Kelly, she's the intellectual equivalent of a drone, strike-precise, focused, and devastatingly effective.
I'm old enough to remember when it was the conservatives who hated news.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bill Maher, who has been the standard bearer for liberalism and in many ways leftism until the woke went bananas in this last decade, but for decades, that's what this guy has represented in America. I want you to note the tone they all talk with him. I want you to look at Sonny Hostin's body language and the way they look at him and everything else, just because he is a lefty who hasn't gone—
And while The View keeps spinning the same tired sound bites and cookie-cutter platitudes, Maher and Kelly are raising the bar. Watching The View feels like signing up for a masterclass and walking out dumber. It's the clearest example of mainstream media's collapse, where critical thinking is replaced by hashtags and hot air. But Maher and Kelly, they're dragging the conversation back to where it belongs, grounded in reason, fearless in truth, and entirely unbothered by the fake polish of mainstream comfort zones.
Has to be for everybody.
Right.
We can have platforms that have stuff on them that not everyone on that platform or who consumes stuff on that platform enjoys. And The View is a particularly weird place to do a cancellation.
It's called The View?
It's called The View. It's not called The Facts.
Yeah, but isn't it interesting that it's called— I don't think they meant this when Barbara Walters invented it a long time ago, but it's The View.
Well—
That's the problem in America.
But
There is
clearly—
one view.
Right, and
one
that's clearly
true opinion, and everybody else can go sit in the—
Let's call it what it is. The View simply can't keep up. The intellectual gap between Maher and Kelly. And the show's recycled talking points is like watching a chess grandmaster face off against a toddler playing with plastic pieces. While The View shouts oversimplified solutions from the comfort of its cozy echo chamber, Maher and Kelly are out here igniting real debates and offering bold, unfiltered perspectives that actually challenge the system. It's not that The View is wrong every single time, it's that they're so trapped in a tired, politically correct bubble that they've stopped engaging with real-world issues altogether. They chase feel-good validation instead of confronting uncomfortable truths. Meanwhile, Maher and Kelly are simply too sharp, too experienced, and too quick-witted for The View to even hope to keep pace, while the hosts of The View are still busy spinning the latest outrage of the week. Drama and pretending to be the enlightened voices of reason, Maher and Kelly are in the trenches, exposing hypocrisy, delivering brutal critiques, and shaking the very foundation of the political establishment. This wasn't just a challenge, it was a dismantling. What we saw wasn't two media pros dunking on a talk show. It was a clear, resounding wake-up call to anyone still clinging to the comfort of mainstream narratives. Maher and Kelly aren't here to entertain, they're here to do the heavy lifting. Armed with cold facts, razor-sharp wit, and logic that cuts through the noise, they tore through the charade and made it look effortless.